Thank you all for joining us. I'm Tom Schwartz. I'm the president of Purchase College, and it is an honor to welcome Governor Cuomo to our campus today. Before we get started, I'd like to take a moment to recognize our special guests. Ken Jenkins, Chairman of the Westchester Board of Legislators. Janet Difiore, Westchester County District Attorney. Tim Idoni, Westchester County Clerk. Noam Bramson, Mayor of the City of New Rochelle. Mike Spano, Mayor of the City of Yonkers. Tom Roach, Mayor of the City of White Plains. Chuck Lesnick, Yonkers City Council President. Ron Belmont, Supervisor, Mayor, Town of Village of Harrison. Over the past 2 years, the governor has focused on rebuilding the economies of the Hudson Valley and the state of New York. And under his leadership, it is obvious that much progress has been made. Today, the governor will talk about his vision and plan for this year and how to build upon that progress and continue to improve our economy. It is fitting that the governor chose to visit Purchase to talk about his plan. Education is the engine in growing an economy, and the SUNY system and our universities play a major role in the state. We are educating and preparing our students to join the workforce. We are investing in research to come up with the latest ideas to make New York a leader in technology and innovation and to attract businesses to come to our state. Purchase College's mission is to offer a unique education that combines the liberal arts with conservatory programs in the arts in ways that emphasize inquiry, master of skills, and creativity. Through our many innovative programs, including those in design, new media, and arts management, and our commitment to creating opportunities for students to excel in all aspects of learning, we educate students who are creative, entrepreneurial, and capable of leading economic growth across all sectors. The governor is making smart investments, leveraging academia to attract businesses to New York and create jobs, and I applaud him. And now I am pleased to introduce one of our very own students, Amy Creor. Amy?
Thank you, President Schwartz, and welcome Governor Cuomo to Purchase College. It is an honor to have you here, and I thank you for inviting me to speak today. My name is Amy Creor, and I am a senior majoring in literature and creative writing. I am from New York City, where I attended public school my whole life. I was fortunate to attend great schools such as Stuyvesant High School in Manhattan, where I had teachers who truly challenged me to learn more and grow. Here at Purchase College, I've enjoyed the chance to serve as a tutor and teacher's assistant. Because of the excellent education I received growing up and my experiences teaching here at school, I hope to become a teacher myself after graduation, which is why I'm applying to the prestigious New York City Teaching Fellows Program. Governor Cuomo recognizes the importance of quality teachers, which is why he has proposed an education reform plan to make sure every student in New York gets the world-class education that he or she deserves. Last year, he passed a teacher evaluation system to ensure we have the best and brightest educators in our classrooms. This year, he's making important investments to improve our education system, such as extending learning times for students and providing full-day pre-K in high-need communities. He has also made economic development in all corners of the state a priority, encouraging entrepreneurs to build businesses and create jobs here. Governor Cuomo wants entrepreneurs and business owners to create in New York, stay in New York, and expand in New York. He recognizes that young New Yorkers, like me, are the next generation of doctors, engineers, and innovators. From improving the education system to encouraging job and business growth, Governor Cuomo is giving us the tools we need to pursue our goals and build a career here in this state. These are vital investments in us and the future of New York. On behalf of my fellow students, I thank the governor for his commitment and hard work, And with that, it is my pleasure to welcome the Governor of the great state of New York, Andrew Cuomo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, Purchase College. How are we doing this morning? We are doing well. First, to President Schwartz, I want to thank him very much. First, his great leadership. He's had a very distinguished career. He's been a star at everything he's done. He's brought great leadership to this institution. He's also a very nice guy. And I'll tell you what he said this morning. He said, any student here today for attending this presentation gets 5 points extra credit. Isn't that great? Let's give him a round of applause, President Schwartz. It's fun for me to be here today. I'm a Westchester resident. I'm right up the road in Mount Kisco, so this is coming home for me, and I appreciate it. It's also a pleasure to be with your really extraordinary elected officials, because as I'm in Westchester, I've been watching them. I don't just watch them as governor, I actually watch them as a citizen of Westchester, and they are really a great, great group. They've been acknowledged. I'd just like to point them out again. I want to start with your district attorney, Janet Difiore, who does a phenomenal job as the district attorney. She's so good, I've given her some extra assignments to do for the state in her free time. But let's give her a round of applause, District Attorney Janet Fiore. Chairman of the Westchester Legislature, who I see on TV almost every day, Ken Jenkins, who's doing a great job. Pleasure to be with you, Ken. Good friend of mine for many, many years. He's doing a great job. The County Clerk, Tim Idoni. Pleasure to be with you, Tim. Some ways, the elected officials who have the toughest jobs are those positions that are closest to the people, where they're most accountable. And they tend, the mayors of this state, I believe, really have the toughest job in a lot of ways. And we have three great ones, Noam Branson, Mike Spano, and Tom Roach. Let's give them a round of applause. And Supervisor Ron Belmont, pleasure to be with you, and Chuck Lesnick from the Yonkers City Council president, who goes back with us so long. He started with a fellow named Mario Cuomo. Chuck Lesnick. Give him a round of applause. Ron Belmont, pleasure to be with you. And thank all of you very much for taking the time to come. Let me tell you what today is all about. The beginning of the year, a chief executive will lay out his or her vision for that jurisdiction. In broad strokes first, the President will do it in the State of the Union address, Governor does the State of the State address, a mayor will do the State of the City address, but that's the broad strokes, a broad vision. And then there's a budget that's presented that is actually the nuts and bolts of how you're going to accomplish that. The State of the Union, the State of the State, is normally presented to the legislative body. The President presented a few days ago to the joint session of Congress and the Senate. I presented to the Assembly, State Assembly, and the State Senate because they're the legislative body and you're laying out the agenda for the legislative body. But I started 2 years ago as governor with a slightly different track. I don't work for the politicians in Albany, and I don't work for the Assembly, and I don't work for the Senate. I work for the people of the state of New York. I work for you. So I want to make my presentation, my plans to you. I want your feedback. You tell me what works, what doesn't work, what makes sense, so we can adjust accordingly. And then I'm going to urge you to get involved, because it's an old cliche, but it's true that democracy works when people get involved. And if you don't get involved, someone else will get involved. And it winds up with a system where the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And it depends on who's squeaking. And if you're not squeaking, then you can't complain when the system doesn't respond to your needs. And trust me, there's a lot of squeaking going on right now. And I want to present this plan to you, and I want to see what thoughts you have, and then again, I'll urge you to get involved. The theme for my presentation is New York Rising. And what we're trying to capture in this illustration is we've had tough times over the past few months, but we believe in the state, and we have cause, good cause,
for belief in the future. Past few months, we've seen a blizzard of events and headlines, some great news, some tragic news. So let's just start by establishing our bearings on where we are. 2 years ago, I became governor, and I ran on a fundamental reform platform for the state of New York. And it's a platform that we enacted. We said that the state was on the wrong track, and if the state didn't change fundamentally what it was doing and the trajectory of its government, the future was not going to be bright. We had to reverse decades of decline. You have communities in this state, entire regions of this state that have been in decline for decades, literally. And we laid out what we called the New York comeback. And it was based on a few core principles. First, it's about jobs and economic growth. That is the engine that pulls the train. If you don't have a private sector economy that is doing well and that is flourishing, if you can't convince the students in this school that their future is here, that their careers are here, you don't have a future. So it has to be about the economy. It has to be about driving the jobs. To do that, you need a world-class education system because one feeds the other. You need a government that has fiscal integrity and discipline. And this state, New York State, is different than the other states. And we've played a different role historically, that we were the progressive capital of the nation. And this state acted and other states followed. And that was our legacy, that was our history, and we had to restore that legacy. 2 years later, I think it's fair to say that we're on our way. There was a great governor of New York called Al Smith. He used to say, let's look at the record, let's look at the facts. Don't listen to the words, look at the deeds. Well, if you look at what we've done, you'll see a change in the state culture, where we attacked the bureaucratic mentality of the state, and we replaced it with what we call a new entrepreneurial government. Now, I use those words, entrepreneurial government, because that doesn't have to be an oxymoron. Government can think and act entrepreneurially, and you can be lean and quick, and how do you get to yes, and how do you get results? Gone is the political gridlock. We've seen governments gridlocked. You look at Washington, D.C. right now, they're fighting about their own politics rather than doing the work of the people. And we started in Albany 2 years ago, and we said, look, we may be Democrats, we may be Republicans, but we're New Yorkers first. And let's put the public service before the politics, and let's end the gridlock, and let's get things done for the people of the state, and let's see government work. And the government has worked for the people of the state. We set out to bridge a divide 2 years ago. We tried to change from yesterday to tomorrow, from what was to what can be, from the dysfunction of what was Albany to a government that actually performs, from a public cynicism of government to a trust of government, and to bust the gridlock and actually get to cooperation to make government work. And I think it's fair to say that we built that bridge, and we're building that bridge literally and metaphorically, because we're also building a bridge called the brand new, beautiful Tappan Zee Bridge, which in some ways is a metaphor for exactly Tappan Zee Bridge. They talked about literally for 10 years. Government spent millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of meetings, talking about replacing the Tappan Zee Bridge, which is needed construction. They started talking about replacing the Tappan Zee Bridge in the late 70s, believe it or not. And it became a metaphor for the dysfunction of government, that for some reason they just couldn't get to a place where they could replace the bridge and figure out how to do it. And we started literally 1 year ago, and we said we're going to make significant progress, and in 1 year we went through the entire environmental approval process. We came up with a bid document, we put the bridge out to bid, we picked a contractor, and we literally have broken ground all within 1 year. And that to me is a symbol that government can work, and we can get things done, and we can do things smart and efficient and effectively, and we can actually make progress.